Hi, this is my ABA Everyday Open topic assignment, and I'm going to be doing the topic of extinction, specifically on an episode of The Office. So, I can play a quick excerpt. So for background, this is the boss, Michael, calling Pam, or calling the office because he just hurt himself.
Pick me up.
Okay, wait a sec. I thought you said that you were hurt.
I am hurt. I hurt my foot.
Pam.
I want to come to work, but I need you to come and pick me up.
No!
So in this scene, I would argue that Michael's motivating operation is attention deprivation, which results in, as well as that there's an SD of him being in pain. And that is indication that reinforcement is potentially available. So the antecedent, that's the antecedent, and then the behavior is the calling to, the behavior is calling and engaging in complaining behaviors. The consequence of that is here, where
No one wants to pick me up!
What is going on? What is going on?
Michael is sick, and he wants one of us to rescue
I'm
him.
not sick!
I'm coming, Michael! I'm gonna say.
So in that instance, that's the consequence where Dwight is providing Michael with the attention. So the antecedent is his pain, and as well as attention deprivation is the MO. The behavior is him engaging in attention-seeking behaviors by complaining to others, and then that is reinforced by the consequence of Dwight providing him with that attention. And if you want to see, he goes through this whole wreck and goes to his house, but we don't need to watch that. So then, from that, because of the attention that Dwight provided, that reinforces the complaining or attention-seeking behavior that Michael engages in, so that it begins to increase when he attends the office. So now I'm going to get into the extinction portion of the assignment.
This accident, but I will recover, God willing. I just want to be treated normally today. Normal would actually be good, considering the trauma that I've been
You
through.
missed 2 big conference calls today, one with corporate.
Oh, did you explain why?
No, I didn't mention that you cooked your foot.
Burn my foot, Pam. Please stop popping my cast. Thank you.
So here you can see that Michael is again engaging in those complaining or attention-seeking behaviors where he is discussing the pain of his foot and wanting, attention and reassurance. However, I'm not going to play the whole episode, but as you see from both this character and Pam, the receptionist, all the workers are basically putting his behaviors on extinction. They are not providing the reinforcement that he's seeking, which is attention. And so from that, you will see an extinction burst, extinction produced variability responding, as well as emotional responding. Extinction burst is going to look like he increases his whining, he increases the comments that he makes, which you kind of saw there, like he just continues the conversation, and there's a lot of attempts at him trying to receive, I guess like empathy or attention or comments from the staff. And then I'm going to skip to a part where it shows potential variability responding as well as emotional responding. So here we're going to see a variability in his responding.
What?
Come here, please.
Tell me before I come there.
I want you to rub butter on my foot.
No.
Pam, please.
Ryan! Ryan!
lovers are totally...
So in that scene, we saw extinction-induced irritability. He first, originally, when he walked in, he was attempting to just have normal, reciprocal conversations, and hopefully through that was going to get the attention and reinforcement that he was seeking. However, that didn't work. The behavior was put on extinction by his coworkers. So there was an extinction burst as well as variability. So he increasingly was seeking attention, and the variability came in because instead of talking, he began yelling for Pam. He began then, when that didn't work, he tried calling Pam at her desk. And then when that didn't work, and he still wasn't receiving reinforcement, he then started hitting his crutch against the wall, trying to get, again, a different person's attention, which is also, I would think, variability. So that, I would argue, could potentially be an emotional responding, but I think there's a better example of that further on in the episode.
Oh my God, Dwight's kind of my friend.
No one is helping me out at all, Mom. No, I'm not gonna call Jan. She'd just worry. Drive down here and make a big thing. Who told you that? No, it was mutual. Been chatting with you.
So in that instance, again, is some extinction-induced irritability where he wasn't receiving attention from his coworkers, and then he was seeking that out via his mother. But again, he's seeking the attention of certain peers, not his mother. So I would argue that wasn't the attention she was providing him was not the attention that he was seeking. So I don't think it would be considered reinforcement. So I'm going to continue on with the episode. So I'm not going to continue playing this whole scene, but basically all of his attempts in the room stopped working and aren't giving him reinforcement through it via attention. So further variability is he decides to get out of his office and attempts to go into other rooms in order to seek attention. And you'll see here that there's, burst of him whining, complaining, engaging further in more of those behaviors more rapidly and at a higher rate. But still, other of his coworkers are still putting these behaviors on extinction and not providing him with the reinforcement he's seeking, which is attention. So I'm going to continue playing and getting to the emotional responding scene. Also, another variability is he basically purposely falls off the toilet. Again, another differing variable attempt at getting the reinforcement that he's seeking. So, yep, that's another example.
That isn't weird.
Wow. Can I have everyone's attention, please? Phyllis, Oscar, Ryan, who is supposed to be dead. Can I ask you all a question? Do you know what it's like to be disabled, Oscar?
So basically this is, I think you could consider this also extinction-induced variability responding, but I think it's a good example of the extinction-induced emotional responding because he begins to act on kind of dramatic, no, I don't want to use mentalistic terms, but he begins to raise his voice. He begins to, his tone shifts to being very sad and upset, or associated with that type of emotion. He begins kind of yelling or calling out coworkers. He refers to himself as disabled. And I think those are all indications of emotional responding due to his behaviors being put on extinction by his coworkers and not receiving the reinforcement of attention. So with that all being said, I'm not going to continue playing the whole episode, but at the end of the episode, he talks about how, I don't need to play it, he talks about how he's healed and he basically stops engaging in the attention-seeking behavior altogether. So the coworkers successfully put his behavior of complaining, of whining, of drawing, of talking about his foot, they successfully put that behavior on extinction, and he no longer complains or discusses his foot again. He kind of pretends he's like, oh, I've been healed, but that behavior is put on extinction, is then probably replaced with a different attention-seeking behavior, but for the sake of that target behavior, they successfully put on extinction, so good for them. So that's my ABA Everyday open topic assignment. Thanks.